First of all, thank you so much, Katie, that you're here, that you're helping us with this project. You're the first one. You see, it's just starting. The project just got approved by these guys, and we are here to bring Brazil to the world. Let's say we're going to be traveling around every single week, twice or three times a week. We're going to be to different countries, representing or represented by the people who were born there. So tonight we are going to France, but not only France, because Catherine is an international person. She lives in so many different countries. So you guys, I think I'm gonna give her the word so she can introduce herself, and then we can start the session. You can ask her whatever you feel like. She's very welcoming, warm person. So I'm sure there's not going to be any problem with that. So, Catherine, it's on you.
Okay, well, thank you, first of all, for inviting me. This is the first for me to having a meeting like that with so many people. And coming from Brazil, I must admit, it's a country I haven't been. So, well, there are many countries I haven't been, so to be quite honest. So yeah, like Simon said, I'm from France originally, but haven't been living in France for more than 25 years now. I moved to the UK at one point, England, Sheffield to be precise, and then after that to Glasgow. My English was very poor at the time. Was barely. I mean, I had English from school, but not enough to have a proper conversation at the time. So moved to Sheffield and went to Glasgow, and then after that we moved to South Africa, immigrated to South Africa. We stayed there for 12 years, and we finally moved to Belgium. All of that because of my husband's work, and then we have settled in Belgium, next to Brussels. And like I think Simone said in one of her video, not a lot of people know where Belgium is, which we can understand. It's such a tiny little country, but it's in the center of Europe and very practical. Um, it's a nice country to live in, many languages as well, and quite international because of the European Union and NATO. So you meet a lot of people from different backgrounds. So that's basically it. I've worked in many different I've done many different jobs. I'm originally trained as a administrative assistant or responsible manager, but I've taught French as well at university as an assistant, and it was French for business beginners. And I worked as well in schools as an assistant, and also as a secretary. And these days I've dropped everything to do something that I've been doing from the beginning since I was a child, which is painting, drawing, and I've started being an artist, a professional artist. Actually, it's completely brand new. Started in January, so
Oh,
which
you're
is
doing a great job. I see her work.
yeah. Thank you.
And I will definitely hang some of them at my place, but we just give some time. We are in touch about that,
I'm
right?
not going anywhere.
There you go.
Oh, hello, guys. Sorry that
Hello.
I'm
Hello,
late.
Ludmila.
Okay, yeah, I know that France is really known about their fashion, right? The maisons and everything. But something that I really like about France is this book. I guess maybe you guys can see
Oh,
it.
Le Petit Prince.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ah,
it's my favorite book. I think it's
it's a
so
beautiful book.
beautiful.
It's a
And
beautiful.
Um, I want to know more about it. It's super famous, just like it is around the world. There in France, it's like a reference. This book and its author.
The Saint-Exupéry is a huge figure in France. He hasn't written only Le Petit Prince. He has written a couple of books. Um, being a huge fan of planes and pilots, you have to know that Saint-Exupéry, if you know a bit of his story, was a pilot in the Second World War. He was apparently a terrible pilot, a better writer than a pilot. Le Petit Prince is based on some of his private stories as well, because, like I said, he was a terrible pilot. He crashed a couple of times, and one of these time was in the desert as well. Um, and he decided to write about the experience and the hallucination and what he was seeing at the time. And the Petit Prince came, out of that. It's a beautiful poetic book that children read here. um, if you want to know, in Lyon, which is a big town in France, in the eastern part of France, in middle eastern part, next to the Alps, not far from the Alps. The airport is called the Saint-Exupéry Airport because he came from that part of France. And you can find all kind of items about Le Petit Prince, about the Little Prince, and beautiful, T-shirts, whatever you want.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I really want to know more about it. If I have the opportunity to visit, maybe in the future, I will definitely try to visit it. And thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely, absolutely. You have to know that they found his plane not a long time ago. I think it's a bit less than 5 years ago. They always looked for his plane because he crashed during the Second World War in the Mediterranean Sea. And they finally found the plane, and the personal items as well that were still in the plane.
And what do you think, in your opinion, the Le Petit Prince was a hallucination of him, his mind playing with him? It was an entity, a spirit, or it was just a story, fictional story that he created? What do
I
you
think
think?
it was a mix of everything, to be quite honest. I suppose when you think you're about to die, you start maybe, creating things, but at the same time, who knows, I'm an agnostic, so I would say maybe there is something that was keeping him alive during that time because he was in the middle of nowhere. So I think he would probably be the only person who can answer that. It would be interesting to read about his biography and see what he said about it. I don't know enough, and I wouldn't dare saying it was like that. But I suppose there is a bit of everything.
Everything. All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. In South Africa, you have to know that there are 11 languages, official languages. So it goes from English, Afrikaans, Xhosa, Tswana, and Zulu, and I don't know all of them because there's so many. So they had English is a kind of a mediator language. They do have a very strong South African accent, which obviously emphasizes, depending on their mother tongue. So a person with Tswana is going to have a more Tswana African, accent when they speak English. But they do have a different English than the UK, for example. There are certain words that they're going to use in South Africa that are not used in the United States or in the UK. For example, you've got a traffic light. You use a traffic light. I think it's the same in America, in the United States. In the UK, you would say traffic light. In South Africa, they call it robot. So, as a when you're an English speaking from South Africa and you arrive in a UK environment, you say, "Well, be careful because the robot is red." And the English, they look at you and say, "What are you talking about?" And for you,
Um,
it makes sense,
maybe it's
but for
language, right?
them, it doesn't. So the language is really the English differs from one country to another one. And you don't really need to go very far from that. If you're in the UK and you go from England to Scotland, they speak a total different English as well, with different words. And Glasgow, for example, I stayed a year and a half in Glasgow, and it was the most terrible accent I've ever encountered. I felt like I couldn't understand a word the people were saying. My English was not improving.
Catherine, when you decide to go to Brazil, you're gonna have to visit all the states. You cannot
Absolutely. I
just go
mean,
for one week. And as Alexander, he was saying, I think after this conversation, everybody got hungry. You
yeah,
see them
yeah.
start talking about food,
I mean,
and, and
seriously.
and especially for me, like I love French foods, and I think it's always one of my favorites. When I can choose, I always go for French. I think it's really rich and it's really delicious. So I think we have to start wrapping up the session tonight for us, Catherine. It was really lovely to have you here. I'm so glad you were the first because I knew it would be amazing the way it was. You see, 1 hour just went by like nothing. I really hope that someday you can come back to have
Oh,
this session with us
definitely.
again.
Absolutely.
Maybe they're going to be new students. I call them students, but they're actually all teachers. They're all very involved with English Brazil. They're helping the company to get better and stronger. And I just met these guys a couple of weeks or a month ago. I don't know anymore, but I'm very fond of them already. They're really nice. They welcomed me also very quickly. So I feel like we are already a family. And I just want to make sure that it's going to grow from now on. And please come back with
Oh, with
your wisdom,
pleasure.
with
That will
your
be my turn to ask questions actually, because it would be very
yeah, you
interesting
have
to know more
yeah.
about
So next
Brazil.
time, guys, get ready. Catherine is not going to be answering any questions.
No,
She
I
will
will
be
be
the
asking.
one asking. Let's see. So if next time we are with 6 or 7 or 8 or even 10, you have to have 10 questions, and then we have to monitor the time to make sure you get all the answers, right?
Nice to meet you
Thank you
too.
so much,
Yeah.
Simon, for inviting me. It was absolutely lovely, and you're all lovely people. And I have to say, I'm super impressed by your English, guys. Your English is very good. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So much.
There you
No,
go.
no, 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 it is. Carlos, believe me.
Yeah. So
Okay, okay.
it doesn't
Thank you,
taste
guys.
good.
Very good.